So, hello everyone, my name is Mildred and I am your instructor for this course. So, this is the second live class, which means that this is the second week of the course. And today we're just going to look at how to use the select statement, how to filter, sort data, and how to alias. And then we'll look at the topic that called joins that we can use to select multiple columns across different tables. Now, just for us to recap last week, we looked at how to install what we need. You have your resource on the page where you have the installation guide to install MySQL Workbench, which is the which is what we are going to be using in the pre-recorded videos. But in our live class, I'm going to use an alternative PHP MyAdmin because I recognize that not all students are able to install MySQL Workbench on their system for some incompatibility issues. And so the alternative to that is to download XAMPP Server and use your PHP MyAdmin from XAMPP Server. And when you do this, follow last week's pre-recorded video or last week's live video, and look at how we installed or how we copied and pasted the data for the secular database in our PHP MyAdmin. So we're going to start today using the secular database, and we're going to recap all of the basic commands that we use. Now, once you are on this page, you go to your localhost/PHP MyAdmin. After you make sure that your servers are running, you come to the SQL tab, and it is from this tab that we're going to write all of our SQL query. Now, before we start, we always want to select the database, and the database we are using is the secular database. Now we have all of our tables within this database, and tables consist of rows of information and different columns within the table. Each row corresponds to one user's information or one data, and each column corresponds to different information that collects one unit of information. So we have first name is a column, and different rows have different first name for the different information for the different people. And so we're going to look at all of these things and then we're going to look at how to write SQL queries. In this course, we are doing this introduction to MySQL in part 1, which will end in week 7, because we are going to be using MySQL as our database of choice when we build our app in part 3 of this course. So by part 3, we're going to consolidate all the knowledge that we have learned, and then we'll be able to write MySQL from within a programming language and be able to send data collected from a form from a front end or from a user directly into the database to store the information. But for now, we're just going to take a look at how the database looks and working with data, and then by week 5, we're going to actually create our own databases and create records in our database using hypothetical scenarios. So the secular database is an old one. Most of the time you'll see lessons that use other sample database from MySQL, but we chose to use secular just for us to be able to work with the difficulties of when things are not written in a modern way or the engines are different. But from next week's live class, we're going to illustrate using another database that is a sample or test database from MySQL. All your assignments will be with secular database, but and all your pre-recorded videos, but we'll try to make the live class have different examples so you can have a wide range of examples to help you understand better. The first command you always want to take note of when you are writing your queries in MySQL, or when you open your MySQL Workbench, which is different from this, is to select the database that you want to use. And you use, the name of the database is secular like this. you will type this command first so that the query you're writing will know which database it is going to be looking at to select the information from the tables within that database. So use and then the name of the database. This should be your first statement in your MySQL Workbench or anytime you write your code. If you want to see all the tables that we have in that database, you can say something like, let's say, sorry. So we want to see all the tables. We'll say show tables like this. And then we'll click on go and to show all the tables that we have. The live lessons of last week touch on these basics. We looked at how to write comments in MySQL. We look at the basic syntax. I want you to go watch the video on YouTube. Also, when you get to YouTube, try to like, leave comments, subscribe to the channel so you can get notification when we upload the live videos. Live videos are only available on YouTube. I see a hand raised. Any question?
Yes, good evening, Ma.
Good evening.
Please, which type of admin are we using? Is it MySQL or Postgres? Because I can see PHP admin.
Yes, what we are using to access MySQL here is the PHP MyAdmin to make it easier. But we are using MySQL. MySQL is the relational database management system that we are using. Okay.
Please, what's the difference between this particular one and MySQL?
They are not different when it comes to writing your command, but they're just different types of you know what we call IDEs that we use for programming. So just different ways, different tools that are available for you to write code or to test your code. So PHP MyAdmin is part of a server for PHP where we run code. PHP doesn't run on the local computer. We need to run it on a server. So we have a server we call XAMPP server. Because XAMPP server has a portal like this that we can use to test MySQL. So we decided to use that part of XAMPP server. It is not the first choice, but we chose to have this alternate choice because some people's laptop have an outdated operating system that rejected the installation of MySQL Workbench, which is supposed to be what we are using, and that is what you have in your pre-recorded videos. So the only difference between both of them is just that they are just two different types of tools that you can use to do the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So you don't need to install both, you just need to install one. If you install both, you are going to have conflicts on your system actually. One will work and the other will not, or sometimes both of them will not even work. So if your system can install MySQL Workbench, follow the guidelines on the resource on the page, and then install MySQL Workbench. And now I'm recognizing that those of you here were not here last week, and so for the purpose of understanding and following, I'm going to just give you a quick demonstration of how to get your resources and how to get started, and then we will look at this week's topic. So the school site we know is school.mildredgroup.com, and then you are going to log in with your email address, and the password that you created when you registered. Then you select I am not a robot. You will select the traffic lights like it says, or whatever it asks you to select. If it's not correct, it asks us to select bridges, and I will select all of the bridges that I can see, verify, login. Now, you are going to be welcome to the student homepage that has a calendar, course calendar for all the courses you are registered in. It will give you a table of all of the enrollments of the different courses that you are enrolled in, if you want to just see that. So this page just contains general information for the students. On the left side here, you can now select your registered course classrooms, and then classrooms, and select the classroom of your course. You take note of your course code. For this class, it is 02-24B. You have batch B of course 2 for this year. When you click on that, you come into the classroom. So this is the place you want to check all the time. Every Monday, when you get your new uploads for your pre-recorded videos, it will display here. Announcements are also displayed here. Everything expires on the new week. So on Monday, when you log in, you'll see welcome to week 3 and the new information about week 3 here. You want to always read your announcements and take note of every instruction on the announcement. And then on the right side, you have classroom information if you need any information about what the course is about and what are the different activities in the course throughout. And we can see what we are expected to do to complete the course. It's 30 weeks long. You are going to have 13 practical assignments, 3 MCQ quizzes. Your assignment takes 40% of your total score. Each of the quiz takes 10% of your total score. The final exam takes 10% of your total score, and your project will take 20% of your total score. If you score 70% or higher, you will get a certificate and an opportunity to join our paid internship program later on when they become open. Then when you scroll down, you will find a table that shows all of the activities for the week. Most of the time, you'll find the activities that are already uploaded and waiting for the start date. So you will see what has been uploaded. You'll see on the 15th of April 2024, you have your week 2 content, and you see the day week 2 ends will be on the 22nd of April, which means that when this expires, it is no longer going to display here. We also have the download resource here that holds any notes that we have. So you always want to check if there are new resources on this page, and you open the file. Like if you check this, you have notes, and it gives you step-by-step guide on what to install to start writing your code. So whatever is on your course resource is the first choice that we have for your installation for the course. And you always find new resources here. If there are new ones, you will have that in your weekly announcement for you to check your resources and install. Now, when you watch your pre-recorded videos, you will find that what is contained in your resource to install is what we use for the pre-recorded videos. Now, in previous classes, we realized that some students are not able to do this installation based on their operating system and the age of their computer. And so we have to come up with an alternative that can work well with any system. And that is where we advise those who have problem to go to, just type XAMPP in your search bar, XAMPP download, and then you look for download XAMPP. Download the XAMPP server for your operating system. For Windows users, you download this and install it. Once you download and install your server, we want to go to, so I'm going to show you where to go to. So once you download and install your server, you want to make sure that on Windows, you look for your XAMPP application, open the manager. Sometimes you'll see it on your taskbar. Because I'm using Mac, it will always ask me to authenticate. Your process might be different, but the basic thing is you can only open the XAMPP manager like this. It will display like this. You look for managed servers and make sure that MySQL database and Apache web server are running. We don't need my Apache web server because we're only using MySQL database. And if they're not running and they're stopped, you want to click Start All Server or select what server you want to start. Let's say I stop this and I stop this. And so when you open this, it's going to be stopped and it won't be started. And for you to be able to use this, you always have to come to the manager and select that one and click on Start. Okay? You select MySQL database and click on Start. But because I'm using this for another development, I always put my Apache web server on because I'm actually building a different app using this same stuff I'm using. So my Apache web server is always running, but you can only run your MySQL database because that is what you will need. Once it's started, that is when you come here and go to localhost /php my admin like this. And then it's going to open this page for you. Okay. Is that better, understandable? I mean, is everybody following, or you have questions so far?
For me, there is no question. I'm following.
Okay. All right. So we have, if you scroll down, you're going to see the lessons. Hello, Michael. Do you have any question? I can see you leaving messages in the chat. Yes, can you type your message if you have problems with your mic, or you can turn on your mic and speak? Yes, you can unmute your mic. Okay, you can leave your question in the chat if your mic is not working. Okay. So while we await Michael's question, it seems to be having mic issues. We will just go on. When you scroll down, you find lessons. Here you will see the title of the lesson. We're in week 2, so we'll have lesson 1 of week 2. Okay, you can speak now.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello, yeah, good day. Yeah, we can hear you.
Good day. Yeah, I actually installed the workbench.
Okay.
But after the installation, I discovered that the circular stuff, the database,
is not there.
It's there, but I only have one, and that is for Actor. It's not full, like the one you were using on XAMPP.
Okay.
The one I have wasn't full. I only have just Actor and a few tables there. That's what I have.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong or something. I don't know.
No, some students had that issue. So what you do is delete your database and download. So you're going to come to, let's look for MySQL sample database. And we'll look for it here. Let's see. Let's look at this and see. So when you come to this, is dev.mysql.com/doc/index -other.html. When you come here, you are going to see example.
Can you help me put that on
in the chat?
box? Yeah.
Okay. So you will, you will come to that link posted in the chat, and then you will scroll down to see example databases. You will see Secular database here. You download the zip file. So you click on the zip file to download. You allow download here, and once it's done downloading, what we'll do is we want to go to the directory where it is, and we see we have 2 SQL files, secular-data.sql and secular-schema.sql. You want to install the schema first. So you open that secular-schema.sql, you Control A and copy. You copied everything on this file here. You come to your so in your MySQL workbench.
Sorry, when I try to open it, it's open in VS Code. So I will copy it that VS Code, right?
Yeah, you copy it. So it's open with any text editor you select. So whatever it opens with, you copy it, and then you come to, so in your MySQL workbench, you must have created a new database called Secular. And if you did not create a database, let me see if this creates a database. Okay, yes, it creates a Secular database for you. So when you Control A and Control C to select all and copy, and you go to MySQL workbench, which I do not have installed on this system, you will go to your anywhere you have your SQL tab for you to be able to type queries in MySQL workbench, and then you paste all of that code. So when you paste the code and you click go, you are going to have some errors. The reason is they have written the table name in alphabetical order, and we have something called foreign keys. The parent must exist before the child, so that when you reference the parent table, it can find it. But in this situation, some children exist before their parents on this table, and we're going to look at those foreign keys by week 5. But because it is like that, you are going to have errors. If you click go, it will have an error. So you want to uncheck enable foreign key checks. If there's anywhere on MySQL Workbench where you don't want to check for foreign keys, it will send all of this, create all the tables for you. And then you go back to that folder there and copy the secular data.sql file, Control A and C, copy all, and come back to the same tab here, and then you paste it again. So this will now insert all of the data into the different tables also. So the first thing is it creates a database and the tables, and the second one, this one will just pasted, will create all of the data in it. If you still have issues, you want to book a one-on-one with Edmond on the group chat, just chat up Edmond and he will come on Zoom with you for like maybe 30 minutes and help you configure your system. So that's
okay, sorry, can I quickly say something? When I actually have done that secular stuff from that link you sent, I have secular data and secular schema. So I'm copying the schema first.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Then thereafter I will copy the data.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you run into problems, just book a one-on-one and we will have like a 30-minute Zoom meeting with you and set up your system for you. Okay. All right. So that is one thing about the installation. We will also look at let's go back to the portal and look at how it's structured. So we have the lessons here that are current. We also have the same lessons on YouTube, so that in the event that this week passes, so on Monday, week 3, all of week 2 lessons will no longer display here, and we'll begin to see only week 3 lessons. When you click on this, it will see the video for you to be able to play them. If you want to download the video, once you click on the video, you are able to see, let's see that. You are able to select, I'm not sure why this is not selecting. So you'll be able to select, this is Safari with Google Chrome. You'll be able to select an ellipsis button on the side there, where you will see a download link to download the video if you want to have it downloaded and you don't want to watch online all the time. If you want to download on YouTube, if you're a YouTube Premium member, you can just select the week here. So the ones on YouTube remains there every week, even when the week has passed. The ones above here, every week it expires and you no longer find those videos there. If you want to find these videos, you don't want to watch it on YouTube for any reason, you can come to the home icon and go to expired classes, where you will find all of the videos for your course. So look at your course code WebDev02-24B and get class, and it shows you all of the videos for all of the classes here where you can play them. If we'll go back to the classroom, when you have assignments, you will come here on the right side of the lessons, you'll find your assignment files. Now, it is advisable to always use your device, laptop or desktop, to navigate the site and the course. On mobile phone, it's mobile friendly because we have a mobile design, but you will have to scroll a lot to get information, as each page information is very long. And so when you expand this, take note of the assignment ID. These are the open assignments. You will see the due date of the assignments, their hard deadline. Once this due date reaches, the assignments will be closed. You will look at the assignment instruction, download the assignment file, and then follow the questions and answer the questions on the file. Read all of the instructions for the assignment. When you are done and it's time to submit, always take note of the assignment ID, and then you come back to the home icon, select coursework submissions, select your course and get class, and then you submit assignment here. Select the assignment ID. here. Sometimes you have more than one assignment open, and so you have to take note of the assignment ID. You choose your assignment file that you want to upload, that you want to submit. You upload the file, enter any text. Maybe there is any part of the assignment that requires you to make a statement or anything, you write it there. When we get to week 8, you need to create a repository. Then your assignment will have repository, link to repositories that you will submit. But for now, you don't have repository, so it's always optional. And if you have any comments to the grader, you can leave it there and you click on submit. Once your grade is released, you are going to come to the same place here on the last tab, view grades, and you'll see your grades listed there. You can always print your grades or download anything you want to download from these pages. Okay, so this is the summary of all. At some point in your course, maybe by the time you get to part 2, we always have internship positions, paid internship positions open for students. And at that point, when you come to open jobs and internship positions here, then you'll see a list of internship that you can click on apply here to apply for the open internship. If you are qualified or eligible, you will get an invitation to interview, and if you succeed, you will have 4 weeks of internship program, which is very intense. And so spots are limited. Sometimes we only have 5 spots per class or per batch. We are on the 2nd batch of interns for the year, and I think we have 3 more batches for this year. And so you want to keep your grades above 70% for each assignment to be eligible for any open internship position. Internships are paid. We are planning to start an unpaid internship sometime in the year, so that students who just want to learn what happens in the industry and want to be assigned to real-world projects will have hands-on experience to understand how these things apply in real life. All right, so we'll go back to today's topic. I hope that you understand the navigation of the site now. Okay. So you try to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because most of the live classes, in fact, all of the live classes are only available on YouTube. If you want to get notification once the recorded live class is uploaded, you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Sometimes you have access to other classes, other batches that are already advanced. If you want to watch the advanced videos to be able to understand your current assignment, if you want to just go ahead of the class and watch pre-recorded videos from the batch before you to be able to understand the topic and have questions before your own live class, you are welcome to do that. Once you subscribe, you have access to all the classes and all the videos from different batches and different courses for you to explore and see what else interests you. Okay. So we are back here, and once you have your installation, you have your secular database. The next thing you want to do now is to start exploring this database. Last week, we had asked students to look through each of the tables and see the kind of data the table holds. In MySQL database, you can just click on, or in my PHP-MyAdmin, you can just click on the table name and it shows you this and runs a select query. In MySQL Workbench, you have to say select all from table name. So when you do this, it will just display that table for you with all the information that it holds. So a table holds information in rows. Rows goes across, columns comes down. So the column is the category ID, the name, the last update. The rows are each individual information, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are all columns. Now, we have different tables, and tables are usually linked by something we call a foreign key. When we say foreign key, we mean that we are keeping the integrity of the data so that we don't have the same information repeated twice. We want it to be in one place. For instance, you have a table that holds names of schools, for instance. You have another table that holds names of students, and you want each student to be assigned to a particular school. You don't want to list the name of a school in the students table. You just want to reference the schools table. We now use a foreign key on the students table to say that you are referencing the school name from the schools table. That way, when the school table is updated, it automatically updates the student's table. Or if the name of the school changes in the future, the name of the school for that student automatically changes without you changing across different places. And when you forget to change one, then the integrity of the data is now violated because things are now all over the place. So that's what we call foreign key. We're going to discuss foreign key in details when we start creating our own database. But I mention it now because we're always going to mention it as we keep these lessons. So the first table, like the schools table, is called the parents table. And the other tables that references that parent table are called the child table. It's called the child table. So that child table, the table that uses the school name from the schools table, is called the child of the school. The school is the parent. So that is what we mean by parent and child. So when we make reference to that, you understand what we say. So we have all of these tables, and each table have different information in them. We want to look at how to select data from a table. We use the select query like this. So the select statement, we use select. You can say all using an asterisk. Asterisk indicates all. And then we use from, and then the name of the table that we're selecting from. Let's say we want to select all from, let's say rental, for instance. Select all from rental. And then we click on go. So select all from rental, and then we get all the information, all the columns and the rows from the rental table. But when we are building our app, sometimes we only need a particular information from that table. We don't want to run a query to select everything from a database. We want to always speed up our, optimize our application or our apps. So we just want to get only the information we want. Let's say, for instance, I want to get only the inventory IDs from the rental table. I don't want anything to do with all the other columns, just the inventory IDs. I'm going to come back here to say select. Now I'm not going to say all, just the name of the column that I want, which is inventory ID. Select inventory ID from rental. And then I'll click on go. And then it selects just the inventory ID column. So you can select multiple columns as comma separated this. So you can say select inventory ID, comma, the name of another column. You can list all the columns you want from the table name. But what if we want to select, for instance, let's say we want to get all of the information from the table only where the customer ID is, let's say, for instance, 126. That is where we use conditional statements to say, I want to get information from the rental table based on the condition. We use the where clause. So I'll say select all from rental table where, and the clause now will hold where the name of the column is customer ID, where customer ID is equal to 126. So the syntax is almost English-like. So you know that we're selecting everything, all the columns. This all means select all columns from the rental table where the customer ID is equal to 126. When I say go, it is going to give me only the rows of information where the ID of the customer is 126. So if I don't put this condition, I will get all of the information for all customers. But now I'm getting information for only customer that has the ID of 126. So that is how we filter data using the where clause. Any question?
Hello?
No question.
Okay.
But excuse me, I went to my dashboard.
Yeah.
And the second, we're on the week 2, right?
Yeah,
so the courses that I saw there is about join. And,
yeah, we have filter, we have
seriously, join. Yeah, seriously speaking, I don't even understand how that joins work. So
yeah, so we're going to get that. That's the last topic for today. That we're going to do for today.
Right,
so I'm starting incrementally so that you get a full understanding. So if you don't understand how the columns are structured across different tables, then joins will be very confusing. But joins, as confusing as it is, as soon as you get the hang of it, it becomes very easy. But I will show you how to do it. But you will still need to practice it over and over again with different scenarios for you to be able to make the concepts less confusing. It's extremely confusing.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Michael. I want to find out what you just did for us now. Is it filtering?
Yeah, this is filtering. Now we're now filtering data from specific columns or based on a condition.
Okay, on what occasion do we use filtering in this database stuff?
Okay, so when you have an app, let's say you have a school app, let's say you're in a university, and then they have a university portal, and they want to check if you have paid your fees. You have a student ID or a matric number. Now, the code behind the scene, that what the officer would do is to just look at the screen and type your name and to bring out your information on the system, right, on the front end. The backend code that controls that front end has this query telling them to select all from the particular table where that holds all the students' information, where the matric number is equal to a particular number. So when you go to any portal and it asks you to type in your email address or type in your ID to retrieve your information, or where you have Netflix and you're logging in and you type in your email address, all the customers are saved in a database, right, in a database table. The code that runs Netflix is going to run its select statement to check the payments table and see if this person with this account has paid, then she releases the movies for you to watch. So these are the applications of this. Okay, so when we get to part 3, where we are building the app and we start using SQL from within PHP to create a whole app, you will now see how all of these things are used and connected.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So now we are learning the basic command so that when it's time for us to now do this from within Python and we are building the whole app, you will now know that, okay, what command should I use to be able to successfully log in a user? So you say, okay, I want to use a select query. The user enters the username and the password and clicks login. What code runs when that button is clicked is going to select all from the users table, where the username is the username the person entered and the ID is the ID they entered. If it doesn't return anything from that select the query, it will tell them that username or password not correct or account not found. So this is what happens. These are the queries that run behind the scene that we do not see when we log into a site. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So we have looked at how to filter data based on conditions. There are several conditions that we use. We have different things like, let's say, for instance, the scenario I just gave you with username and password, we use a clause we call AND. So we have things like AND, which means that when you write AND, it means that one or more conditions separated by AND, all must be true for it to go through. If you say OR, it means that if you have several conditions, always 2 or more conditions, either of them must be true. So you want to say if the person's age is 18 or the person's age is 25, do something. So you're giving 2 conditions. So but if either one is correct, you want it to happen. If you use AND, you want to say, for instance, you want to say if you have something that is for all females, for instance, and the females must be 18 years old. So you will say if age is equal to 18 and gender is equal to female, then something will happen. So and means that both conditions must be satisfied. And then we have in, means that if something contains something. We have not in, if it doesn't contain something. And so these operators, it will make more sense as I use them in queries. But I want you to see them and know that these are the different things that exist. If you read your lesson resource for week 1, I think we have some of these operators and data types listed for you to read. And then you can also research more to see the different MySQL operators and the applications of them, but we'll do as much examples as possible. Let's say we want to look at let's say we want to look at the film table, for instance. Let's select all from film table. So let's see what the film table holds. Now, this film table holds every information about a film. It has the title, the description, the release year, all of the language ID, that is a foreign key for a language table, We have the rental duration. So if somebody wants to rent, you know how long the person can rent the movie, the cost of renting it, the amount of time, I think it's a minute for the movie, the replacement cost if they misplace the rented movie, and the rating of the movie. Is it parental guidance? Is it general? Is it rated? You'll find all of the ratings for the movie. Let's say we want to get movies that are released in 2006, for instance, and at the same time we want those that are parental guidance. Now let's use Netflix as an example. When you have Netflix account for your child and it's a kid's account, they will definitely have their database with a list of all the movies that they have uploaded, and they will have the ratings of those movies. So when the account is a child's account, it will run a query like, check if this account has been paid for or subscription is active, and if the rating is PG, or if the rating is not rated, then they will release all of that under a kid's account. So these are the applications. So all the apps we build uses a database and runs this query behind the scene. All we do is just click a button on the app and the whole code runs to give us our results without us knowing all of the things that are behind it. So now let's try to say we want all the movies that are released in 2006, and we want the rating also to be PG. So we'll write our query like this. Select all from film where release year is equal to 2006. Now we use and because we want both conditions to be specified. And the rating column, the rating is equal to, now this is a string, so we'll put it like this, PG. So you can see how to put two conditions after your where clause. So the where clause, what we use to filter, where release year is 2006 and the rating is PG. We click on go, and then we get that, and we'll see that all the movies we have here are rated PG. So we're able to filter that you want only movies with parental guidance. So if you have millions of movies, you don't need to be scrolling through them to see which is parental guidance. The query just runs for you. Any question? Yeah?
The query you just wrote now,
yeah.
The PG, you put it, and 2006 you did not. Is it because that one is integer what?
You said what? I can't hear you clearly.
I said you put a PG inside the code, and
yes.
2006 not a code. Is it because one is integer and one is a string?
Yes, exactly. So once it's a string, it will be quoted. Once it's a number, it shouldn't be quoted. If a string is not quoted, it will assume that you are naming a table name or a column name, and then it won't find it. But once you quote it, it will assume that it's a value from a table, from a row. Okay? So you can see we didn't quote rating because it's the column name. So MySQL understands that whatever is not quoted is going to be a column from that table, or is going to be a table name itself, depending on the position of that thing. But once it's a value, you have to quote it if it's a string or any letter of the alphabet, and once it's a number, it remains unquoted. So your
data type. You talk about data type in SQL.
Yes.
In our week 1, what
yes.
I saw was operations. I didn't see any data types there. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if we've not looked at data types yet, that means we'll be looking at it in next week's videos. It's either but it's going to be in this between week 1 to 7. We have data types that we'll discuss in details.
Thank you.
All right. So this is how we use the and. So you can use or, in, not in. So I wanted to explore with that. So when you look at the tables, then you want to explore writing queries using these different filtering methods. Another thing we want to look at is how we sort data. If you want to sort data, we use things like, but before we do that, let's do something like we want to, first of all, get unique values from a database or from the database table. Now, because sometimes you have a record that, let's say, for instance, we have things like let's look at the payment table, for instance. Now, things like the payment table will have, a customer repeated many times, because maybe this customer rented several movies. So you have this customer repeated several times. But at this point, what we want to know how many customers rented, which customers rented a movie. We don't want to know how many movies a customer rented, right? So customer ID 1 appeared so many times, and we don't want it to give us this result many times. We want to know that customer with ID 1 rented a movie, customer with the next ID 2 rented a movie, with ID 100 rented a movie. So when you want to select uniquely from a data that has duplicate records, what you do now is to use the distinct keyword. So we'll say, let's say customer ID is our focus. So let's say select, we use a keyword called distinct. So say select distinct in the pair of parentheses. We are selecting the customer ID, and we're selecting this from the table called payment. So this will now look at the payment table and look at the customer ID and just give us one of the ID that exists without giving us that ID several times. So we know customer ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all this rented a movie. So you don't want to see customer ID 1 listed 10 times. With distinct keyword handles selecting uniquely from our table. So every time you want to, maybe you have a list of information and they ask you to just list the names of the students that participate in activities, and maybe you have 5 activities and a particular student participated in 5 activities. You don't want to have the student's name listed 5 times. So all you do is to select distinct students from the activity table. So you understand the example? Do you understand that?
Yes, it's clear. Very clear.
Okay.
Very
okay.
Clear.
Let's look at the joins first before we look at how to sort data and how to alias data. Okay. So let's I want to look at this table, what information it holds. Okay. So for the joins, let's look at the film table and the actor table. So I'll select all from actor. So when you look at the actor table, we have the actor ID, the first name, the last update. So we want to look for the films that this actor acted. So let's select all from the film table. And so the film has the film ID, the title and everything, but it just lists the film alone. It did not tell us the actor here. So we have another table called film actor, and from the name we know that this links both the film and the actor to tell us which actor is in which film. So let's select all from film actor. Let's see what it contains.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Film actor. Like film actor, is it a one table? Then film has a different table on its own?
Yes. So you can see that different tables. Actor is a different table, film is a different table, and film actor is a different table. So if you know the normal trend in how people create tables, when you see something like film actor, you will just think about it and say there's an actor and there's a film. And when you look at the actor table, it doesn't tell you which film the actor acted. If you look at the film table, it tells you the films, but it doesn't tell you which actor acted them. So we want to look at now the film actor. This will now tell you to link the actor and the film, because that's the only reason why the name is film actor. Most of the time you get the schema information of each tables and know what kind of data they hold. But we're assuming that we did not look at the schema information and we're trying to figure out what data they hold. And so we want to select all from film actor, and this tells us that, okay, this is the actor ID and the film ID. This table just basically uses a foreign key to reference what actor is in what film without listing the actor name and the film name. But we want to be able to look at a table and see the name of the actor and the name of the film. We don't want to have to just look at the IDs and then when we click on the actor ID, because it's a foreign key, it will take us to the actor table and give us the name of the actor. And this is what foreign key does. It just links all the tables together to keep an integrity of the table. So because we have it written like this and linked this way, we want to be able to say, can we create a new table that will just merge this information for us without us having to look at the three tables or to get information? We want to have like the actor first name, last name, the name of the film, or maybe the title and the description of the film. This is where joins comes in. When we use join, we can query data across different tables and have a result in one table. Sometimes we save a join as a new table when we query in something we call a view. But we are going to look at that in week 7. But for now, let's just look at how to use joins so that we can clear the confusion about joins. Now, joins. We have different types of joins, but the basic thing about join is you want to select columns from different tables. In this one, we want to select the actor names and we want to select the name of the film. So the actor names will come from the actor table. The name of the film will come from the film table. But all the tables must have a common column. So if you look at the actor table, we have a column called actor ID. If you look at the film table, we have something called film ID. So they don't have anything in common, both tables. But when you look at the film actor table, they both have actor ID and film ID, which means now we have something in common for both of them. So now we can now say we want to use these three tables to get information in one table. That will be easy. So let's do joins. We can use aliases in joins, and hold on. And then we will name what the alias we use is. We want to select, let's say A. A for now, we assume that A means the actor. So let's use the letter A for actor. We use the letter B, for instance, for film, and then maybe letter C for film actor. So we'll say A dot the name of the column from the actor table, because we'll say A is going to be the actor table. What we want from there is the first name, comma. We want to select also the last name from the same table, A dot last name. We want to also select the title of the movie, but it's going to be from the film table. So we say B dot title. So we are using A to represent the actor, and we're using B to represent the film. So we want the names from the actor table, we want the title from the film table. Let's say we also want the description. So we'll say B dot description. I hope I'm spelling this correctly. And then we want from the C, we'll say C is film actor, and this only has the actor ID and the film ID. So we're going to say we just want to get like C dot actor ID, since this is what links both tables together, and then we want C dot film ID. So we've selected all of the columns we want from the 3 different tables. Now what we'll use the join to do is to name the tables, and then we'll use a common predicate that each of them have. Now the actor table and the film actor table has the actor ID in common. The film table and the film actor table have the film ID in common. So this join now will use the film actor.
Can you repeat that again, please? Sorry, can you repeat what you just said now, please?
The actor table and the film actor table have a column called actor ID. So both of them have an actor ID column in common. The film table and the film actor table have a column called the film ID column in common. So we are going to take advantage of that common column that they have, and that we call the predicate. And we are going to be joining this table on that predicate that is common to both tables. So we select all of these columns from a different table. Now we want to tell MySQL what A means, what B means, and what C means. So we're going to say select this from, now the actor. This actor we're selecting, we say actor A. So actor is A. So now we know that actor is A. So we want to use something we call inner join. Now we have 4 types of join. When we say we have inner join, it just matches each row in one table with every other row in the other table, right? If we have the left join, it will match all the rows from the left table with the corresponding matching row in the right table. When we say left and right, is from one table to the next table. And if it doesn't find a match, it just adds the new column and put all the data there as null. And when we say right join, it's just the reverse of left. We'll just look at all the information in the right table and see if it has a matching in the left table. And if it doesn't have a match, we null out that row of information. And then cross join is we're just getting everything from both tables, merging both tables together. So we're going to use inner join because what we want to do now is match each row in the tables using the predicate. So we say select everything from the different columns we want from actor A. So we're dealing with the first table A right now first. Then we use the clause inner join. So we want to join. So select all from actor A and inner join. We want to join this because we say the actor table and the film actor table has the actor ID in common. So we say inner join film actor, and film actor we say is C, right? So we say inner join film actor C. So MySQL now knows that when it sees letter C here, it means film actor. So the syntax is select the list of all the columns from the different tables, and then from the name of the first table, which is actor A, you put the name of the table and what we use to represent the table in the column selection. Inner join the name of the table that has a matching column, which is film actor C, and then we use the on. On means the predicate we want to join them on. So both of them have the actor ID column in common. So we want to say on A.actor ID, so which means we are saying the film table, the actor table, the actor ID column of the actor table on A.actor ID is equal to C.actor ID. So what this now means is select all of these columns only when the actor ID in the actor table matches an actor ID in the film actor table. So that is on A.actor ID is equal to C.actor ID. If this condition is not true, it's not going to select this, merge these informations, because now it wants to know which of the name is selecting for which of the title of the movie. So they have a common predicate to say, check if actor ID is equal to actor ID in both tables. That is the information you should join together. We have another table, the film table, which is B, we want to handle. So once we finish this, inner join film actor C on A.actor ID equal to C.actor ID. We'll inner join. Again, you want to say inner join film B. So film table is B. And what are we joining it on? So we'll say B.film ID is equal to C.film ID. So you understand now, because we say that the film and the film actor table both have the film ID in common. So we want to use their common column to join them together. And so if all is well and we run this, we're going to get a new table that contains information from the 3 tables all joined together in one table. So now we can see the name of the actor, the title of the movie, the description, the actor ID, and the film ID. So we've gotten information from 3 tables into one table. You will not understand this immediately. You have to rewatch and rewatch this for you to get a sound understanding of this. But is it a little clear? And are you sure if you watch the video, you'll be able to go through with this?
Yeah, it's if we go over it, I think if I go over it, I should be able to get it. What I want to confirm is why are we doing joining? What is the essence of joining?
Yeah, because you always have different tables that hold fragments of information. So let's say you have Amazon, for instance, you are shopping online. And the database has something like, you create your account, it has customers, and all of the customer has an ID. Let's say your ID is your email address. You select an item in the cart, right? And then you purchase the item, you click on buy. It will now have a table called orders, right? With that's your name now is a foreign key, because now it's going to just take your name from the users table or from the name of the customers. And then now it will say, okay, this customer in this customer table has purchased something. The list of items that you purchased will be listed. Now, those items might have an item table where when they upload all their items, goes in the item table. And now when you are selecting items, you are selecting from the items table, but when you order, it's going to go into a customer orders table. Now, all of these things are linked by a foreign key. Now, when the person who is going to be packaging your order wants to look at the system, they're not going to be running queries. They have a front end where they can just click on your name or type your email address, and all your orders will come out. What runs behind the hood to display all the orders that you have and the names of the item is a join, because in the back end, the names of the items are in a different table, and your order is in a different table, and your name is in a different table. And so a join will join all three, and to display a nice looking page for them to just write your name, the item you ordered, the amount you paid, and then the payment you made in a different payments table. And so the join will join all to just give them a nice page, or when you print your invoice, everything comes from the different table together in one paper, and you look at it and say, oh, this is nice, but you don't know the complexities behind the hood. And all the time, this joins is one thing that you must meet if you become a developer. You will have to use, okay? Or if you are doing data analysis, for instance, you want to be able to, let me get a scenario. Let's say we want to look at information across, let's say we're doing data analysis to compare schools in a particular region and see why one school student perform more than the other school students. Now, we are going to be getting information from each of the school database. We use join to collect records from each tables, from each different tables from the different schools, right? And then you want to display the score side by side on both, or you want your JavaScript or your Python to be able to plot a graph using the figures it gets from different tables. You'll use join to first get those information to be able to plot them simply. So you don't want to be running this query between your app. You might just want to run this query and create a new table called a view that merges all to get this information. We're going to look at views in week 7, but when we create views, sometimes or most of the time, we use a join to create views, which is a different type of table that allows us to select data from across different tables. And when we look at the view, we just get this without having to run this query all the time. It's stored there. And when any of the primary table here is updated, then the view is automatically updated with the record. So you will, when you watch this recorded video, you will get an understanding. When you get to week 4, week 5, we'll build our database. Your understanding of previous topics will now get deeper, because now you begin to be able to think about its real world application and how we use them. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So let's try to group and use alias for data. Okay. So let's say, for instance, we want to get how many movies. We did rating, right? Let's look at the rating table. Select all from. So I want to select rating from the. Let's select it from the film table. Let's select all from film table to see the rating of the films. So here we have all these ratings, but let's say we want to see how many movies are rated PG. Now we want to calculate. And for this, we use something we call count. The count is one of those MySQL functions that exist that we can use to calculate the total number of stuff. And I think your assignment has where you calculate the total amount paid by a customer, and this is what you do. So we want to select just the column we want. Let's say select rating, and then we will do comma. We want it to count. So select ratings, count. in a pair of parentheses, we want to say the column we want to count. Now, it only makes sense for us to count the film ID because it's a unique column. So anything you want to count to get the total number of something must be a unique column. So we'll say select rating count, and we'll say film ID. Let me put this in lowercase. It's not case sensitive, but we have this convention that we put MySQL keywords in uppercase later, and then we put other things like table name and the names of columns in lowercase letters like this. So select ratings, count film ID, has. So has now is the area. So we want this has. Now, when we say has, it means that we don't want it. Okay, before I use has, let me just use it like this so that you understand why I use has. So select rating, count film ID from, and we're selecting this from the film table. So from film. For us to be able to achieve this, we want to group. So what are we grouping by? We are grouping by what we are looking for, the rating. What we want to group is the rating. We want to group the rating, and we want to know how many movies are in each rating group. So group by is the clause that we use to group a particular column. So it will group, so a column that has multiple. So we have PG, we have G, we have rated, we have all of those different groups. When it groups it, it will now tell us that 3 different groups. One group is PG, one group is this. So you understand. So for instance, we have a child is in school, and then the school has 3 groups. We have nursery, primary, secondary. So we want to group everything into, so when you have a school database, you want to group all the children into one of these 3 groups. Either the person is in nursery or in primary or in secondary. So the same thing we are doing here, group by the rating. So either the movie is in PG or general, or one of the groups that are listed in the movie. We are counting the film ID because that is the unique ID of the table. How will you know it's unique? Because it's an ID column. We know you index by that column. And you know that because it is indexed by it, is definitely by default a primary key, which makes it unique and not null. So it's going to ideally be the one that we will count. So we'll see the number of rows that the table has. So we are counting this film ID. So we are selecting the rating and the total number of film ID so we are counting the film ID from the film table, and want to group this count by the ratings. So because we group by rating, when it's counting, it will count the total number of film ID of films that exist, but then to now group it. So if we have 50 films and the 50 films are shared across 5 groups, it will now check the film ID that are in PG and put all of them there as one group. So when I click on go, we are going to get PG has the total number of 178 movies. G has 170. So we can see the different ratings and the total number of movies in that rating group. Now, you see this is written count, and in pair of parentheses film ID. We want it to have a nice column name. We don't want the column name to be like this. And that is when we use the alias has. So when we do this, select rating, count, film ID, then you use the alias has, and then you can give it a name. So let's say we want to say has total movies as the name. So when we run this time, it is going to make the column name total movies and not just count film ID. And it's now a beautiful name for us to be able to look at. Okay? Is it clear?
This alias is clear. Straightforward. Yeah,
okay.
Straightforward.
All right. When we want to sort data, we use a clause we call order by. Let's find a suitable table to use for the order by clause. Let's see. Okay, let's use this payment table, right? And let's say we want to sort let's use the customer table, I think. Oh, no, this is still fine. Let's say we want to sort this by the amount of money paid. So we don't want to see 2.99, 0.99, 5.99, 0.99. We want to sort it in ascending or descending order. We have a clause we call order by. So we are going to select all from payments, and then now we'll use the clause called order by, and we're ordering by what's the name of the column again? So we're ordering by amount. So we select all from payments, order by amount. When we do this like this, by default, it will sort it in ascending order. We are sorting by ascending order, so it will start from 0, 0, 0. So you see the lowest money first, then it goes incrementally to the highest money. So you can know that the last one is the highest amount of money paid. So automatically, when you select the last row, you will know that that is the highest amount of money the person spent. When you select the first row, you will know that this is the lowest amount of money that was spent. Okay?
Hello, I want to ask a question here. Maybe for the operation you put on the video. Now, can we do something that maybe a particular amount, something, is there any way we can include something like a less than or whatever to get a particular, to filter a particular amount that is paid, that fee?
Yeah, you can filter a particular amount. So what you will do there is to say select all from payments where amount is, maybe you want to say amount is greater than.
Okay, you mention a keyword now. Is it where? The keyword is where?
Yes, anytime you want to filter. So when you want to see, you want to get a particular amount, you know you are filtering the data. So you are going to use where clause. Okay. So every time you want to filter to get a particular information based on a condition, you use a where clause. Okay, so now because we want to say where amount is greater than, let's say it's greater than 2.00. So it will only give us all of the amounts that are higher than 2.00 paid. So we don't see all those 0.00 anymore. Okay. So we have these different operators, greater than, less than, that we use. But remember that when you want to select based on the condition, you use the where clause after the table name. Okay?
Okay, the table name is payment, so we use where after it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So when we want to order in this descending order, so we can now say select all from payments, order by amount, and then we use descending DESC like this. So by default is ascending. If you want to specify ascending, is ASC, but we don't need to specify it because the default sort order is ascending. And if you want it to be in descending order, you do DESC, you go to put the highest amount first before the lowest amount. So all of them will go from the highest down to the lowest. So you know the first row has the highest amount paid, the last row has the lowest amount paid when you use descending. Sometimes you don't want to even look at the record. Let's say, for instance, what I want to do is just to get the highest amount paid, and I just want to know the highest amount. I don't need to return all the data. I will just say select all from payments. I'll say order by amount, and then I'll say descending. But because I just want to know the amount that is the highest, I'll use something we call limit, and I'll limit it to 1. Just give me one record, the first record that you find. When you sort this by descending order, give me the first record. So which means that the first one is the highest amount. So it just give us the first one. So we know the amount here is 11.99. We don't need to pull out the whole record and increase our execution time if all we want to know is the highest amount paid. There are other operators like min and max that we can use to get highest amount, lowest amount, but the aim of this one is to use the order by clause to sort in both ascending and descending order. And I'm trying to use the different clause we can use with this, the limit 1. So this is going to be very applicable when you design your app, when you are trying to just find a particular information. The information might be 1 million in the database, but you just want to know exactly one of that information. You don't need to know everything. So when you have sorted it, you want to know the highest, and then you can just use limit 1 to just get the first row that has that. Okay. So these are all the topics that we intend to cover today. What we will do next week is we'll review the topics again and then add new topics to it, because all of the topics are connected. If you don't understand one, it might affect your understanding of the next one. All right. If you have difficulties, remember every student is entitled to a 30-minute one-on-one class. You contact Edmond on the WhatsApp group or any of the admin and ask for a one-on-one. We'll give you a time slot and then a Zoom link to join, and then we will teach you one-on-one where your difficulty lies. Okay. Spots are limited, so you might want to book early. If you are studying and you have difficulties, you might want to book early and get a time slot for yourself, so that you can have all of your questions ready, and then somebody will guide you through your difficulties. Okay? Any question before we end the class?
No question from here.
Okay. So before, by the end of the day or latest by tomorrow morning, this recording will be made available on YouTube and the link will be shared on the WhatsApp group. All right. So thank you, everybody, and have a blessed weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.